The 2013 Alabama Tree Farmer of the Year is Dr. Robert Parker, whose 515-acre tree farm in Elmore County, Alabama is an outstanding tree farm. It is very diverse, with wildlife one of its major components.
Of course, when I first started, forestry would be the #1 objective. You had to have two in the treasure forest at that time. You had to have two objectives. So I had forestry and wildlife. I actually think, when you talk about the forestry aspect of it, because usually trees are worth some money and aspect like that, but the beauty of this piece of property is the location of it, and the aesthetic value of it has gone up actually more than the forestry aspect of it.
As part of Robert Parker's reforestation efforts was the planting of longleaf pine on a site-specific location on the tree farm. Robert, I understand you really like longleaf pine, and you've chosen this sandy site here that you said wouldn't grow cotton to plant longleaf on it. Why do you like longleaf?
Well, the wood on the longleaf is just structurally a superior wood for the rest of the pines. And also, it's the native tree in this area.
That's right.
Years ago, when the longleaf stands were here, it was a native tree, and to me, it's a magnificent tree. They have a long life. They're disease resistant, and I've had good luck with these. We planted these. These were bare root seedlings when we planted them, and that was in '97.
Great survival. In the plans for wildlife, Robert speaks of the retention of open areas to serve as wildlife openings.
I probably have about 30 acres of open land, but see, I got 23 green fields, and then I got native warm season grasses planted, and so I've got it's all planted in something.
This tree farmer chose to utilize sawtooth oaks for acorn production in the early overall tree farm layout for wildlife species. Robert, from what I've seen of your property, you are really attuned to wildlife. And I notice a lot of sawtooth oaks that are probably close to the same age as a lot of the pines you've planted. When did you plant them, and what was your reason, and where did you plant them?
Yeah, well, these sawtooth oak right here that you see were planted in '97, and the reason I planted them is because this was cotton. This was a cotton field. There were no oak trees anywhere around here, so I didn't have any kind of an acorn. So I figured, well, if I want an acorn, though I'd rather have the wild, the white oaks and stuff like that. But when you don't have the time, I wanted some trees that'll place it, so I planted these, and they have done, these trees started producing acorns at 4 years, and they load down with acorns every year. Well, so that's the reason I planted them.
I've noticed that several landowners where they just blanket the ground. They're so productive, and it really should supplement the wildlife on the place when you do that. Having access problems during wet weather here in the Tallapoosa River bottom, a raised roadway or dike was constructed to help alleviate the problem. I noticed, and you said we were looking at the Tallapoosa River around the bend of this road here, which is actually, you say it's a dike.
Right. When I got this land in 1990, you couldn't drive from here down to the river but about 2 miles an hour because the erosion was so bad. The road, it was just holes and things. So I put this dike in. I got the two drains that go under it, and I put this dike in. This is probably one of the best things I've done at my whole farm, because now I got easy access. You can ride down the dike at 25 miles an hour if you want to, but it just really worked the program. It really worked excellent.
With the property being majority former agricultural land, Robert Parker was able to plant a diverse distribution of forest types. Loblolly pine plantations were strategically located. This is one of your many loblolly plantation sites, and planted in
94.
94.
Yeah.
And they sure look nice and clean, and you keep it pretty much a clean understory. How you doing that?
Yeah, of course, I run fire through here every 2 years.
Every 2 years.
I like fire, and I'm gonna continue to burn them because it just, like I said, it keeps everything down. You can walk through there. You don't have it's easy to look at the trees, and I didn't burn these last year, so they're gonna be burned again in several months.
Well, you're fortunate to be in the location. It looks like you can do a lot of burning without worrying about it going somewhere and getting off the property or getting to a place you don't want it to be.
Yeah, I don't have any problem with smoke. Smoke is never an issue here because I'm so far away from anything. Like the only thing I can hurt is myself. Of course, I got the river down there, and like I wouldn't want a fire to get in these young oak trees over here. I planted those trees in '97. So I just run a fire thing down and burn this way, so I don't ever have any problem with that. But,
well, that's good. We're going to look at these. Since we're this close, we're going to walk over and look at some of those native oaks. As hardwood species were absent over much of the tract, except for stream sides and on the steep hill lands on the northernmost part of the property, oak species plantations became an important part of the overall plan. Well, we've mentioned that we were going to step over into some of these native oaks you've planted, and this is, how large an area is this particular spot?
I planted on the whole place. I've got probably 60, 70 acres of the oaks. This area right here is around 15 acres. I didn't want just a pine plantation. I wanted to have a little of both, and so I planted the oaks. I planted about 10 different species of oaks in both spots, and they seem to be coming along pretty well. You know, I may not get anything. I didn't plant them just to get money out of them. It won't happen in my life, but they are just a diversity. I like the diversity, and the deer love this oak area right here. They get in here and move from in here. It's like a bedding area to them. I was going to say, I bet you it makes good bedding for them, and you do have a very diverse tree farm in the way you've laid it out, and if this was all cotton fields at one time, you've done a great job, and done well with it. And I tell you, the wildlife ought to really enjoy what you've done for them, because it looks like you're going to produce a lot of acorns for them. Robert Parker actively utilizes wood on the property. Much of it comes from the property itself, and it helps to satisfy his woodworking hobbies and other wood use interests as well. So this is your favorite place, is right here? Well, I enjoy the sawmill. Okay, all right. And you said this was a big shortleaf pine that died on you? Yeah, this tree, I found it dead. It hadn't been dead long, and I cut it down, and it's 100 years old. Wow. I counted the rings in it, and I had a friend that brought a big skidder over here and pulled it out, and I cut it up. That's the top part of it over there, but I've cut up 2 logs, and I've got the wood right over here, 2 by 20 in size, that are 9 feet long. It's really some nice wood in that tree. And of course, I got all kinds of trees. This is right here on the saw right now is a cedar log I'm getting ready to cut up, and that's going to make some real pretty wood there. And that's Osage orange right there, that yellow one? Right, that's a piece of... Even the sawdust is bright yellow. Yeah, that's something else. Next to the cabin and near a small stream is Mr. Tree. This one here can really tell you a story, I guess. Yeah, this is as far as I know, this is the biggest tree on the farm right here, this white oak, and it's a beautiful tree. I really don't know how old that thing must be, but it's got a lot of years on it. I bet you the deer would just come right up here under it, and they don't worry about the cabin, because when that thing it usually has acorns every 2 years. The cabin built by Robert and the family
is called Plugger's Nest. Inside the cabin, Robert and Doug discuss the improvement of the deer herd over the years.
These deer came off the farm here. When when I got the farm, the deer was small, but we started. We don't shoot anything now. Every now and then, some younger ones will kill a smaller deer, but we don't. We try to harvest only the 8 points and even let the small 8 points go. We don't shoot near as many, but it's been a pretty, they're improving the deer now. We kill deer from 190 to up to 220 pounds here.
That is great.
So in Elmore County, that's a big deer.
Due to the excellent management of the tree farm's forest cover, the streams on the property run clear and clean. When asked about his interests over the years, son Tom describes his enjoyment of the recreational use of the forest.
Hunting, we used to fish and climb up and down hills or whatever, just whatever.
So there was a recreational aspect that you really enjoyed more than anything.
Oh yeah, riding four-wheelers, looking for different things.
Mm-hmm. Robert was asked the question, over the years, who has done the work both in the past and the present on the property?
I get a lot of information from the Forestry Commission. I've been in actually soil water conservation districts. I get a lot of help from them, but the work on this land is done by me and my sons. I don't have any outside labor. I do it all myself.
As we close this visit with Robert Parker and son Tom, I'm sure we'll all agree the Parkers have created a very beautiful and productive tree farm. We have seen outstanding examples of all 4 of the words displayed on the tree farm sign: wood, water, wildlife, and recreation. Robert Parker and family are much deserving of the honor and the designation as 2013 Alabama Tree Farm Family of the Year.